Well, let me just start with a bit of a familiar tone. Of course, one of our faculty members at Bethlehem College and Seminary is Andy Naselli, who worked for you for several years and collaborated on a major project that just completed with the NIV Study Bible. Let me ask you about the NIV Study Bible first, and then I'll ask you about Andy. The NIV Study Bible was a project years in the making, a major undertaking. Now that it's all done, are you satisfied with the results?
I guess I would give the kind of answer that I would give to almost any project. I'm grateful. There are many things about it that I'm thankful for and so on. I can always see in retrospect how things could have been done better. But that's true after virtually every sermon I preach, every book I write. I come away thinking of how it could have been, should have been done better on this respect or another. But all things considered, it came out as well as I could have hoped for.
Mm-hmm. For whom is it best suited?
Anyone who wants to study the Bible and gain insight and biblical theological knowledge, who can read above the level of an intelligent 15-year-old. So it's edited to be pretty easy reading, but it's crammed with information. And so although it wasn't designed for pastors, there is so much useful material in it that pastors will sometimes use it as well. I hope that they'll use long commentaries in addition, of course, but it's a convenient way to have a lot of biblical information for the serious Bible reader, for anybody who has a 15-year-old reading knowledge.
Thank you. And so Andy Naselli, who was a collaborator on that project with you and worked for you for years, is now an assistant professor of New Testament biblical theology at our school. As you look at Andy as perhaps a protege or as someone that you've had influence on, do you detect any of your influence specifically in Andy's work, in the way he teaches, his style, as you've had a chance to observe him?
Poor chap. Inevitably, we all influence one another in one respect or another. We always stand on the shoulder of others. So we spent enough years together that undoubtedly I've shaped him in some respects. But Andy already had done a PhD at Bob Jones before he came to Trinity. And he has his own background in fundamentalist roots and his own churchmanship experiences and so on. So he's nobody's clone either. He has his own mental apparatus. He's one of the most organized people you'll ever want to meet. Very structured. Very pedagogically gifted in terms of breaking complex things down into pieces that students can absorb. And a lot of that he's brought with him himself. I wish I could look you in the face and claim that I'm responsible for all the good things that turn out of Trinity and swear off any responsibility for bad things that fall out of Trinity. But of course, it doesn't quite work like that. Jesus too had his Judas, and even Peter was not up to snuff all the time. So I just refuse to think along the lines of I'm responsible for this person or responsible for that person and can take the credit, as it were. God uses us in our various ministries, and some very wonderful things happen as God's Spirit takes biblical truth that you have taught or tried to live out and worked it into somebody else's life. But if you ever get into the habit of patting yourself on the back for it, then you've got to start claiming responsibility for the bad things that have happened too. Life is just too complex to admit simple alignments like that.
Mm-hmm.